Welcome to Lesson 1, the legal and professional requirements for gym instructors. Now, this is in the professionalism and customer care section of both your manuals and your LAPs. So, if you don't know yet, your LAPs is your Learner Achievement Portfolio. Now, this is the black and white printed section that you should have been sent, and this is what you will be filling in for your coursework. So there are worksheets there for you to complete. Your manual, so that's the big folder with lots of information across the board. The section that we want to look for in that is the orange section. So that's the professionalism and customer care orange section for the manual. So by the end of this PowerPoint, you should be able to summarize the Equality Act and relate it to fitness instructing. Describe the scope of practice of a fitness instructor. Explain the insurance requirements when working as a fitness instructor. And explain the importance of having appropriate insurance when working as a fitness instructor. So your first two tasks here are just to be done by yourself. So if you want to pause the slideshow until you have completed these, that is absolutely fine. Task number 1, just 10 minutes or so. We want you to research the Equality Act with a focus on the year of the Act, the definition of what equality means, and the 9 protected characteristics that the Act refers to. Okay, so once you've done that, you can write that down. You will also need that information to complete the questions in your lab. Task number 2, want you to come up with 5 examples of when equality of opportunity may relate to the role of a fitness instructor and the appropriate action to be taken. So, 5 examples of when equality of opportunity may relate to the role that you will be doing as a fitness instructor. So if you're unsure about what this might be, go back to the 9 protected characteristics of the Act and think about where any of them would apply in the fitness space. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and pause the PowerPoint until you have completed both tasks, then we can get started again. Okay, so once you have finished both task 1 and task 2, we're just going to go over what you might have found out. So equality is enjoying equal rights and being of the same importance. It's ensuring that every individual has an equal opportunity to make the most of their lives and talents, and believing that no one should have poorer life chances because of where, what, or whom they were born, what they believe, or whether they have a disability. Okay, so the 9 protected characteristics of the Equality Act that you should have found in your own research are age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion or belief, sex, and sexual orientation. So there are, of course, other things that make us different, and this is called diversity. So what things can make us different? Could include, but not limited to, our hair colour, where we are from, our political persuasion, our beliefs, our height, as well as our weight, our music taste, our accent or how we sound when we speak, things like our favourite sports teams, and the schooling that we have or haven't had. So all professionals, including exercise professionals and fitness instructors, which is what we are or are going to be, and organisations are required to operate within this legal framework of equality when providing services, to ensure that all of their clients and prospective customers are treated equally, fairly, and with the highest standards of customer care, irrespective of any differences they may have. Okay, so that is our section on equality. Moving on now to the role of the gym instructor. And just before we do, there's a lot more information in the orange section of your manual. So if you want to read up anything else on equality, you can do so there, or you can do your own research on the internet. Okay, so the role of the gym instructor. Now, our next task, write down 3 roles and 3 responsibilities of a gym instructor. Now, what is the difference between a role and a responsibility? A role is things that they do. So, for example, would a gym instructor clean the gym? That would be a role. A responsibility of a gym instructor is things that they can be held accountable to. So again, depending on the employer, it may be that responsibility is cleaning, but a responsibility could also to ensure that clients around the floor have good form and are keeping themselves safe. So if you want to pause the PowerPoint just now and write me down 3 roles and 3 responsibilities of a gym instructor. Okay, so once you have finished that, we will have a little discussion about what you have written down. Now, there are lots of roles and responsibilities that this could encompass, but some of the roles discussed here include customer experience and member retention, motivating clients and supporting any behaviour changes, screening and assessment of health and fitness, referring clients out when necessary, which we will talk about in a minute, individualised programme planning, supervision and monitoring of clients and the gym environment, and health and safety. Okay, so there are lots more, but that's just a base to start with. Now, referring clients, what does that mean? So, scope of practice. Now, if you want to refer to the orange section in your manual, there is a good amount of detail about what is in the scope of practice of a gym instructor and what is out with the scope of practice of a gym instructor. Now, simply, scope of practice just means who you can work with. Okay, so some clients we can work with as gym instructors and some we can't. But how do we know which is which? So using your orange manual, I want you to find out which clients are out with the scope of practice for you as a gym instructor. Okay, so that's task number 1. Task number 2, once you've done that, is think about who each of your 3 examples could be referred to. So, for example, if one of your clients has an eating disorder, we as gym instructors are not able to work with that person until they have A, been cleared by a doctor, and B, being cleared by a dietitian. Okay, so if a client comes to you and they disclose to you that they have an eating disorder, the person you refer them to would be a GP and or a dietitian. In the first instance, it might be a GP, but if they've already been to their GP but they feel like they need further help, it would be a dietitian. Okay, just a quick note here. The difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist is that a dietitian is part of a regulated body and they have a higher education degree or qualification. So technically anyone can call themselves a nutritionist, although ideally they need to have some form of qualification, but it's not protected and regulated in the same way that a dietitian is. So always in the first instance, refer to a dietitian if possible. Okay, so I want you to pause the PowerPoint here, have a look at the section in your manual, the orange section about scope of practice. You'll notice if you look at the top of the right hand page of this section that some conditions, if your client only has one of the conditions, you are okay to work with them. However, if they have more than one, then you are not qualified to work with them. So for example, if you have someone who has controlled mild asthma and they've been cleared for exercise by a doctor, yes, you can work with them. However, if that person has asthma and they are also have heart issues, that's 2 issues there, then you as a gym instructor are not qualified to work with them. Okay. If in doubt, you can always check with your insurance as well as your manual who your insurance covers you to work with. Okay. And again, if in doubt, you can ask any client to provide you with a note from their doctor that says they have been cleared to work with you as a gym instructor in the gym. Okay, so time to pause the PowerPoint here. Write me down 3 different examples of clients who are out with the scope of practice of the gym instructor, and then who they should all be referred to. Okay, off you go. Okay, so now that you have got those 3 examples, we mentioned a little bit about insurance requirements there. So let's talk a little bit more about this. Insurance requirements for gym instructors. Okay, so there's lots of different types of insurance that we can have. First of all, public liability insurance. Now, if you are working in a gym, your instructor at your gym will probably require you to have this as a gym instructor. Okay, so public liability insurance and just general personal training insurance. Okay, so there are lots of companies who will cover you insurance wise to work with clients, to work in certain environments, and to work with certain equipment. Okay, so do your research as to what companies are best to get your personal training insurance with. If in any doubt, please just ask. There are lots of different companies who provide the services, but just check that what you want to do is covered by that company. So for example, if you want to teach outdoor boot camps, you need to make sure the insurance company you sign up with will cover you to do that outside. Okay, not every insurance company covers all things, so make sure you read the small print. Okay, other insurances that you may have: employer liability insurance. Again, check with the insurance company you're using that they cover that if required. Also, professional indemnity insurance and business equipment insurance. So that will cover things like kettlebells, weights, mats, skipping ropes, slam balls, anything that you are moving around, not within your place of employment. So say, for example, you work in a big commercial gym. You would expect them to have business equipment insurance. Of course, just double check this. But this is more aimed at people who are working from home, or they're going to their clients' houses or their clients' gardens, or even boot camps in the park, in a field. You need to make sure that any equipment you're using has insurance. Okay, so again, there are other insurances that you can get. So for example, income protection insurance. If you are off work sick, What type of protection do you have? If you're off work for a month, or 2 weeks, a week, and you are self-employed, no one is paying your wages. So it's always worth looking at income protection insurance to see if you can get something to cover you if you're unwell or you hurt yourself and you can't work. Okay, so other insurances include things like if you have a car, have you told your car insurance that you use it for business purposes? Because if not, you may not be covered if you are in an accident or need to make a claim. But again, there are lots of different types of insurance, so it's worth doing your research here to see what will include you or what will cover you. But in the meantime, for any insurance claims or need for protection, it's really important that you document everything. You build relationships with insurance brokers, different companies, and also your place of employment. It's really important to make sure that you know what they cover you for and that you know what you need to cover yourself for. Okay, and it's also really important to be organized and keep a record of everything. Okay, so by now you should be able to summarize the Equality Act and relate it to fitness instructing. You should be able to describe the scope of practice of a fitness instructor, explain the insurance requirements when working as a fitness instructor, and explain the importance of having appropriate insurance when working as a fitness instructor. And now you can go to page 6 of your lap and complete all of your questions there.